What? Me being in front of the camera? Well, hey, guess what? We're going to be talking about Ghost Recon today. A tactical first-person shooter, but is it good or bad? I don't know. Let's find out. Ghost Recon was originally released on Windows and later ported to the Xbox on November 11th, 2002. A few short months later, it was also released on the PlayStation 2 and GameCube. The game was developed by Red Storm Entertainment and published by Ubisoft Entertainment, who changed their name to just Ubisoft in 2003. There was only two negative things I found about this game, and the first is that you can't see your weapon in your hands. Games have been showing weapons in your hands for years before this one even came out, so I can't really figure out why they wouldn't include this as well. I did think about it for a little while and came up with one possible reason, and that is if you don't have a gun in your hand, you have more screen to look at, so maybe you can see and focus better? I'm not really sure. The second problem I had is that there doesn't appear to be any way to cancel the orders you give your team. So if you're setting a waypoint, be sure that's where you want them to go because you can't move it. I had a few instances when I was trying to give orders, only to change my mind before I exited the screen, but I couldn't change what I had just set. It's not a huge problem, but it is worth mentioning.
For one small group of elite soldiers, the war has already begun. U.S. Special Forces Group 5, 1st Battalion, D Company. Deployed on peacekeeping duty to the Republic of Georgia in the Caucasus, this handful of Green Berets represents the very tip of the spear, the first line of defense. Equipped with the latest battlefield technology and trained in the latest techniques of covert warfare, they strike swiftly, silently, invisibly. They call themselves the Ghosts.
So just like in some other Tom Clancy games that I've played, this one didn't have much of a deep story other than some briefing before the mission, detailing very little of what's going on. While the gameplay is very well done, the story is bland and forgettable. Fortunately, this didn't detract much from the experience for me. As many of you know, first-person controls on the 6th generation consoles can be pretty hit or miss. Ghost Recon nailed it, however, with perfect controls all around. Aiming was flawless, and the way you move felt like you were actually controlling a real person. I love tactical shooters, and Ghost Recon is no exception. You take control of two teams, Alpha and Bravo, and can issue a small amount of orders to them. If you want one team to go take down one objective while you and your team go pursue another, then go right ahead. The AI is fairly smart and can take care of themselves in most cases, so there's no real need to babysit, which is always nice. This kind of builds on top of my tactical point I just made, but you're able to build the teams that you bring the way you want. You can select a range of different characters and classes that all have different stats that you can level up for them just by playing a mission. You can choose what weapons and gadgets they bring as well. Overall, it felt like a nice feature to include that added that little bit more of a hands-on feeling. At any point during the mission, you can change the person you're controlling, which is a huge plus for me. I love that I can be using a character with an assault rifle only to switch to the guy next to me carrying a sniper for some long-ranged fun. This also helps if the AI gets a little bit buggy and gets stuck somewhere. You can just take control of them and manually move them where they need to go. In the end, Ghost Recon was a pretty enjoyable experience overall. The controls and gameplay were great, and I loved being able to control where my teams went and what they did. If you have a few friends, then boot up some multiplayer and give that a shot as well. While this game didn't blow me away, it is still worth picking up, and for around $3, who can complain?